Welcome to 2018 PGA show. This is the real deal. First stop on the PGA Tour is with Mondaire. He is the golf mechanic. All right, I say that because he is the proprietor of the golfmechanic.com. If there's a tool out there that you've been doing and using for club making, chances are he's made it.
Yes,
okay,
that's very true.
And now what we're going to do is he has a full line of tools that you can use to do just about anything you want to do with a club. We're just going to touch on a few. So if you really want to, get in with this, there's two ways of going about it. One, at golfmechanic.com.
Yes, talk to me directly, yes.
Or you can talk to him directly. Visit the website and then GolfWorks.
And we have the GolfWorks also.
Yeah, and then you can talk with GolfWorks.
Mark
the guys,
and Kevin will be always happy to help.
They're always going to get there. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about his newest bender, then we'll talk about a few others because there's a couple special things coming. All right. Come on, do it. Okay. So right into there,
All right.
and then
Well, fair enough. Well, okay, for this year we are introducing a new universal bending gauge, and when I say universal, this machine is really universal because it will do irons, of course, it will do wedges, it will do hybrids, it will do drivers, okay, and some fairway woods. The way we did this, I worked with Tom a few years ago and I came up with a nice molding system. So the gauge comes in with a little accessories that will allow you to make a dam, to build a dam, to clamp those drivers in your fairways. For most club makers which would be more interested in bending iron and hybrids, this machine has two different clamping systems built into one machine, into one frame. And what we do here, we have basically the differential measurement. So the machine actually slides and you can adjust it for all your irons. So your club always remains vertical when you bend it. You never lose your reference. On some other machines, you have to follow the shaft. But here the shaft is always upright no matter what you do. No matter the lie angle, no matter the loft angle, the shaft is always upright. But one good feature that we also have on our bending gauges, and this is for all those sophisticated irons, forged irons, these springy steel irons. Basically what we are introducing our measure as your bend system, and we've built these claws directly into the bending gauge. And I'm going to show you likewise if I was going to clamp this club, regardless of its loft angle. So I am securing it in the gauge here. And then I can secure the protractor directly onto the shaft so that when I move, okay, there we go. So as you can see on the dial, that if I move the shaft, you can also take a measurement. So like if I was going to bend these irons, I would be able to see the amount of spring back in the hosel, and I can compensate for it so I don't overshoot. If you overshoot, you can eventually damage the hosel. The hosel gets out of shape and the iron is basically ruined. With this system, you don't. So you are always applying the right amount of pressure on the hosel.
Okay, so if you guys didn't catch all that, what he's done is he's added in a digital measurement with this clamping system that sits right here, that when you're bending right here, you can see the movement in the gauge back here, and then because there is sometimes the hosel has a memory, that's what they call it, and it goes up and it comes back, and that just means you just didn't get it at that time frame. You push up a little bit more so you don't go beyond where you want to be.
Exactly.
And this is unique. This is unique to this guy. All right. Now the other part that I truly like about this is, what they talk about bending, that you bend back and forth, that's where your strength is at. All right, so you either bend back and forth for your lie angle, or you can turn and you back and forth for your loft angle. Now, what you have here, in other cases, there are pins that you got to pull and you got to push in. This slides. This slides and comes right into, and you have the numbers along here that you can see, and it just makes for a very easy way of working things. So in your shop, virtually this becomes a display piece. All right, and then when you can show customers you can do that, boom, you've got yourself a really neat thing. And it will do irons. It will do a putter with a different clamp. It'll do a hybrid, and it can do drivers and fairways. If you're totally careful, and two, if you get the clamshell that will go on top of it in order to make that happen.
Exactly.
Now the other thing you got to notice here that, you know, he's the golf mechanic, I'm just the golf guy, and neither one of us have got our aprons on.
Not today.
Maybe later tomorrow.
I've got my lucky shirt that compensates.
There you go. So we're going to move you around. We're going to show you another one. I'm really excited about this puller, and then we'll show you another piece. So let's move over there. All right, second tool. We'll bring you in. Well, second tool, shaft puller. You cannot underestimate the need for a very, very good shaft puller. All right, this is it can either be a time waster or a time saver. All right, I'm all about saving time. You guys have heard that. And this guy right here is probably one of the neatest ones I've seen in a while. In that you have the clamping mechanism is just as smooth as you want it to be. All right, and that clamps now, much like you've seen at my shop. Once this clamps in, this thing pulls back. All right,
it's a reverse truss puller.
Reverse
truss.
Yeah, there you go. Reverse truss puller. And what this does is you get your ratchet and you put it on there, and it's 1 to 16.
Yeah, 1 to 16. That's the mechanical ratio, mechanical advantage.
So,
and the way I achieve that, first of all, we are using a high precision ball bearing screw. Okay, and usually you find these on high torque applies like big CNC machines, anything that's a rolling stock with guideways that weigh several tons, then they would use ball screws of this kind. Now I call this the reverse truss puller for a very, very simple reason. If for those who are mechanically inclined, the thread of the screw, you have an up ramp and a down ramp. And basically what I am using the design feature of the ball screw, the up ramp, to get the mechanical ratio, which means, you know, it's usually you get more traction going uphill than actually going downhill. And this is what we are doing. So we are transferring the thrust between the ball and the screw, going the opposite direction. Okay, so basically, and to make it really very short, this is the only mechanical puller that will give you over 3,000 pounds of thrust with no slip. You don't need hydraulic. You don't need leaky cylinders or anything like that. 3,000 pounds right there on the torque gauge. You know, you get all the thrust you need to extract. Almost dry extraction, but you don't want to push it.
No. So,
and it's a no slip.
So you're saying 3,000 pounds of force is going to be able to pull this head off of this shaft. Or you're pulling the shaft out of the head. That's actually what's doing. And most glues break down right around 2,400 to 2,800 pounds. So he's over ratio because that's what you want. And then the way that this works, you see how this is wide open here? You put the head out into here, and then that way you can, if you need to, you can still be applying the heat in order for it to slide off even more. So all in all, this thing, and then it's got a nice base so that if you guys are compressed
to a bench,
right, if you're compressed for space, it would fit real nicely into a vise, or you can bolt it straight down. It's got the holes for it, which for me, that's what I would do. But and so it's got a nice easy bench, and it's got some serious weight to it. All right, this is not a joke.
It's got dual guide rods, you know, the ball screw, it's extremely stable, and it's basically guaranteed for life, for at least as long as I live. Okay, beyond that, I can vouch for it. But
so now he has other shaft pullers in the catalog. So if you're truly interested, again, the golfmechanics.com, so you can see the other varieties.
This is our 908.
908. That's the serial number for this. All right, we got one more to look at because this is another time saver. You've got to see it. So we're going to move to that one.
All right. For golf clubs, so basically, you know, we have this calibration stick here. You know, I zero the scale, and you can see you have the swing weight, center of gravity, total weight, and length of the golf club. I didn't connect the laser for the length, so we're going to have only 3 measurements. So here we go. So basically you can see that this is a C9, okay? DCG 0.1 swing weight. It weighs 572 grams. Okay, and the CG is 572 millimeter from the butt, and the total weight is 710 grams.
Will that read in standard English units?
You can read inches as well.
Okay, very good.
Okay, we can send both.
The grams I'm okay with. It's the
the length.
Center.
Yeah, you will get that in inches as well.
Okay, so for you guys that weren't. We're all geeking out on this stuff over here.
Yeah.
All right, the auditor. It does swing weight, center gravity, total weight, and length with a laser, all in one setting. So you put it in, you turn it on, you let it set for a second, and you get all of that. So imagine, if you will, going to one station and going, here you go, as opposed to worrying about center gravity. Now, center gravity won't be for all you guys, but for the guys that are really all about it.
Inertia matching, you
right.
need that
If you're MOI guys, it's all day. All right, but you get 4 things, one measurement, instead of going from gauge to gauge to gauge to gauge. And there it sits, and the footprint itself isn't really that big. In comparison, it's actually a really nice little setup.
It's compact, yes.
Yeah. So the three really new ideas that have come out. All of them are outstanding, okay? And he's got, I just wish, we're gonna take a tour. I'm gonna just kind of go around and I'm gonna show you all the different things just from a videoing perspective, but
just have them call
those are the 3. And again, I can't stress it enough. GolfMechanic.com,
you don't have to do me.
and you can talk to Mondare directly, or you can go to GolfWorks and you do that, or if you happen to have any questions from a club maker point of view, ask me. And then I can ask him.
You know more than I do, I promise you that.
All righty, buddy.
Sure.
Thanks. And we're seeing some more. So if you want to see some more about this, or we want to learn more about Tech Tuesday, subscribe and let's see your scores go low. What are you doing? We're getting busted here. So I'm going to take you around.
Cheers. Thank you.
Mondare, is a pleasure, an absolute pleasure.
Me too.
Okay.
I'm delighted.
I'm going to take around. We're just going to do a quick spin around just so they can see everything.
Please do, yes. All right, see you around. Thanks.